title, rising from adversity in the bustling city of New York, where dreams were born and crushed daily, lived a young woman named Emilia Hart. Emilia was an American with roots that traced back to her immigrant grandparents. They had come to the United States with nothing but hope and the desire for a better life. Emilia's childhood had been filled with stories of their struggles and triumphs, and she held those tales close, drawing inspiration from them. Emilia had always been a bright student. Despite financial hardships, she worked part-time jobs to support her education. Her mother was a single parent, working long hours in a diner to make ends meet. Emily admired her mother's resilience and vowed to create a better future for both of them. After graduating from a local college, she landed a job as a sales associate at a fashion retail store. Although the job was far from glamorous, Emilia seized every opportunity to learn about the fashion industry. She paid attention to the latest trends and customer preferences, hoping to one day launch her own brand. One rainy evening, while cleaning the store after hours, Emilia received a call that would change her life forever. A prominent investor, Jack Delaney, had seen her pitch for a fashion line based on sustainability and eco-friendliness. He was intrigued and wanted to meet her the following day. Emilia was ecstatic. This was the break she had been praying for. She spent the night preparing her presentation, detailing how her designs would not only be fashionable but also ethical. When she met Jack, her passion was evident, and he was impressed. He decided to invest in her venture, providing her with the necessary capital to kickstart her dream. With Jack's guidance, Emilia launched her online boutique, Eco Chic. At first, sales were slow, but her dedication and the unique nature of her products caught the public's eye. Over time, her brand gained a loyal following, and things started to look up. As her business grew, Emilia faced new challenges. Managing a company while promoting her products was not easy. There were days when she worried about balancing her finances, keeping her inventory stocked, and ensuring that her marketing was reaching the right audience. To add to her stress, she learned that her mother's health was declining. The emotional burden weighed heavily on Emilia, but she couldn't afford to slow down. She continued to pour her energy into her work, knowing that her success would eventually provide a better life for them both. One day, during a fashion conference, she met other aspiring entrepreneurs who were in similar situations. They exchanged stories and ideas, and Emilia realized she wasn't alone in her struggles. Motivated by their camaraderie, she decided to start hosting online workshops to help other women in the industry. She believed in sharing knowledge and resources, knowing that lifting others would only strengthen her own foundation. As the years passed, Emilia's brand flourished. She became known not just as a successful entrepreneur but as a champion for women in business. Her online workshops gained popularity, and she encouraged women to pursue their dreams, regardless of the hurdles they faced. With her success, Emilia established a fund to support underprivileged women aiming to start their own businesses. She understood the importance of mentorship and provided scholarships for aspiring fashion designers. Emilia's story inspired many, as they saw a reflection of their struggles in her journey. However, along with success came criticism. Some claimed that Emilia was no longer relatable, that she had forgotten her humble beginnings. Those comments hurt her, but she remained focused on her mission. She often shared her story, how she rose from the challenges of her early life, reminding others that success did not erase one's past. Years later, Emilia found herself standing on a stage, addressing thousands of aspiring entrepreneurs at a women's empowerment conference. She looked out at the crowd, filled with hopeful faces, and felt a surge of gratitude. Her journey had not just transformed her life but thousands of others. As she concluded her speech, she announced the launch of the Emilia Hart Foundation, dedicated to providing mentorship and support for women entrepreneurs worldwide. The applause was deafening, and tears filled her eyes as she realized how far she had come. Emilia's story was a testament to resilience, determination, and the importance of lifting each other up. She'd gone from a struggling girl working in retail to a billionaire and a beacon of hope for countless women. She had not only achieved her dreams but had also created a legacy of empowerment that would last for generations. In the end, Emily knew that success was not measured in money but in the impact one could have on others' lives. As she stepped down from the stage, she was already planning her next steps because for Emilia, the journey was just beginning. As Emilia stood on the stage, the crowds slowly began to filter out, their applause still echoing in her ears. She had spent years building Eco Chic, but it wasn't just about the financial success, it was about the community she had nurtured along the way. Every face she saw in the audience represented a dream, a story, and a determination that resonated with her own. After the event, she was surrounded by women eager to connect with her. Each one of them shared their ambitions and fears, and Emilia listened intently, offering insights and encouragement. It filled her heart with joy to know she could impact their lives, just as she once sought guidance in her journey. Later that evening, as Emilia returned home, she found herself lost in thought. She reflected on her own transformation from a girl with little more than hope to a billionaire and a leader in the fashion industry. It was surreal. Her thoughts drifted to her mother, who had always believed in her dreams. Emilia could almost hear her words of encouragement, pushing her to strive for greatness, and she felt the ache of gratitude and love. Unsure of where her path would lead next, Emilia decided to take a moment for herself. She skipped her usual schedule and spent the weekend in the serene Catskill Mountains. Surrounded by nature, she contemplated the impact of her success on her mental well-being. Sitting by a calm lake, she took a deep breath, allowing herself a moment of solace before embracing the chaos of her life. Inspired by her weekend retreat, she returned to New York with a renewed sense of purpose. She gathered her team and determined they would not only continue to grow Eco Chic but would also expand their footprint in philanthropic ventures. They began developing programs that would not only offer grants to women-owned startups but also mentorship opportunities for young girls interested in entrepreneurship. Within a few months, they launched the Dream to Reality initiative, an annual event where aspiring female entrepreneurs could pitch their business ideas to potential investors. Emilia personally mentored the finalists, sharing her experiences and guiding them through their journeys. The initiative became a remarkable success and drew attention from media outlets across the country. As the years continued to unfold, Eco Chic became a household name. Emilia was invited to speak worldwide, advocating for sustainable fashion and women's empowerment. Yet, she never lost touch with her roots, ensuring that the little girl from New York remained a part of her story. She continued to highlight the importance of resilience and community support during her speeches. Emilia also made a conscious effort to celebrate her legacy through annual scholarships in her mother's name, recognizing the sacrifices her family made for her education. The first recipient was a bright young designer from a low-income background who dreamed of starting her fashion line. At the annual awards ceremony, she watched the young woman stand on stage, her face shining with help and determination while recounting her journey. Emilia was moved to tears. It was like watching a reflection of herself in the early days of Eco Chic. She stood up and applauded, realizing that this was precisely what she had worked towards, empowering others to chase their dreams. In her quiet moments, Emilia often pondered what her life would look like years down the line. She imagined a world where women of all backgrounds felt empowered to walk their paths, supported by their communities. Each time she helped another woman succeed, she felt a part of her own dream fulfilled. Emilia's heart had risen from adversity, and she intended to ensure that others could too. The legacy she built was not solely her own, it belonged to all the women that had inspired her and the countless others she had yet to meet. She knew the journey would always be filled with challenges, but as long as she could positively impact the lives of others, she felt she had truly succeeded. As she turned off the lights in her office one last time for the night and walked out into the bustling streets of New York, a sense of peace washed over her. The journey had been long and filled with twists and turns, but she was ready for whatever came next. After all, just like the stories of her grandparents, She believed that every ending is simply a new beginning. The end. Please subscribe my YouTube channel.